Hello, Paul Bridgland. If you'd like to tell us a little bit about yourself and your injuries, please.
Alright, I'm Paul Bridgland, as Lou said. I'm 53 years old, closer to 54 at the moment. Background sporting wise is nothing sort of great. I didn't get into sport until after leaving school, about 17. Prior to that, one of my favourite photos of me at about 14 or 15 when I was like a beach ball in size, and I went from that from when I did start training, which was I got into karate, and I did that for 17 years and competed at national level, etc. in that, and I, at times working for the army, the bomb disposal team's nickname for me was Belson, because compared to what I was when I was younger, I was very, very trim. So I did that for 17 years, and it probably leads on to a little bit to advancing injury I eventually suffered from, is that a lot of it's running around in bare feet, doing lots of jumping exercises on wooden floors in bare feet and things like that. When I eventually gave that up, I always was keen on cycling. I got into cycling and ended up doing road racing on push bikes, and it's at that point there when the injury first started to show up. I was always better at longer rides rather than shorter, because I didn't have outright speed, so I'd always do endurance races. 70 miles plus was my best, and so over the winter you would do 80, 100, 120 mile rides. And I just remember one winter, which was probably about 2002, I was getting to 80 miles and the left hip was really starting to give me problems cycling, and by the end of the winter I was getting to sort of 80 miles and starting to have to unclip that leg and pedal home with just my right leg. And it went from that point there to the following August, so 8 months, where one night out on a training ride I managed to ride 8 miles before I was in too much pain to ride, and at that point I realised I had to give up cycling. At that time, during the periods at racing, I was virtually riding full time at points, doing 400 miles a week over the winter endurance, on average over the winters and that, at one point when I wasn't doing a lot of work. So I spent a lot of time on the bike, and all of a sudden thinking, what am I going to do now? It was a big hit, but that's another story. So it turned out it's arthritis in the hip, and it took a couple of years to get it sorted out. So the problem was, especially with cycling, I just couldn't lift my knee all the way up to pedal, and in hindsight, looking back, it was my left hip which went, and on long races, really tough ones, I was always having problems with the lower left side of my back. And apparently what was happening, just exaggerating, instead of my knee coming straight up and down, because it couldn't turn properly, it was rotating round, exaggerating it, and up and down, so it's not following a smooth path, and it's that was doing my back. So waited a couple of years, got over cycling, and thought, that's it, I've given it up, took up too much time, got over it now, and had my hip replaced, and initially sought something non-sporting to do. I got into photography whilst I wasn't able to walk, and really enjoyed doing that, getting outside and that still. But then one day I went and saw a mate who runs a bike shop over Maidstone, and he had a new Trek suspension bike in when they were relatively new, and he sort of said to me, I'll take it out for a ride. I took it out for a ride, and then, surprise, surprise, got into mountain biking, which I hadn't really done before, and that's what I've done for the last sort of 4 or 5 years. And the hip has been excellent on that. When you think of the sort of stretching, dabs, etc. bikes you do at the time, that's been really good. And yeah, it's a godsend having the hip operation change. My current focus though is on skiing. In the last 2 years I've got into discovered skiing, and in 2 years I've been out 6.5 weeks in 2 years, and we're just about to go away this week again and start again, and I'm hoping to do even more this year. And really the long lead in is to what am I doing currently. One of the little things I'm doing currently, I just bought an iPhone sponsored by Apple, and found a little app called Ski Fitness, and you can set it, obviously it's got 3 levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced. I set it to intermediate, and I've never looked at the other levels. I'm assuming it probably gives you the same exercises but less time. This gives you a series of exercises, a lot of them jump based, squat based, but also like core, like plank, left, right plank and things, but it's a lot of jumping type work, and develop on a leg. They're 45 seconds bursts, which are quite intense, with about 15 seconds rest. It takes about 5 minutes. I'll get up at 5:30 and do it early in the morning. And my motivation is the friend I ski with is quite an experienced skier, and although it was very poor technique, she can sort of get her way down the mountain fast. I don't know how, but and so in the past years, due to my lack of technique, I've always had to fight the skis to try and keep up as best I can, which is some way behind. She's listening to this, which is why I'm saying that. And so this year I thought, right, you know, I'm hoping the technique's improved so I don't need it, but just in case, you know, this is my motivation at the moment, is I want to get out there and I really want to be able to, you know, ski all day to the best I can. And these exercises I find good, because at 5:30 in the morning it gives enough to raise the pulse, it makes my legs ache a little bit, your stomach aches, you're holding there briefly, it's not an intense pain all day, but it's not too much. I can do it 5:30, have a cup of tea and then go off to work, and then like supplementing, like I've been to the gym this evening on my way home, and as we're going away at the weekend I just did mainly endurance exercises today, to give my knees a rest from like pushing weights and that. I don't know if you want me to expand on any bits from there.
That sounds really good for now. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.